Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to HBCU football, SWAC football, football fans everywhere around the country. Hey, it's homecoming on the reservation. Today we got our guests, our normal cast, Marcus Dent, Charles Smith, and where's my guy Bledsoe? Did he get off stage or whatever? We're gonna add him back on and Bledsoe. Good afternoon, guys. What's going on?
What's going on, man?
What's happening, Big Mike?
Man,
Let's go.
we're just sitting here and reminiscing a little bit about homecoming.
As they would say on the reservation, and it's homecoming.
And it's home from the late great Dean Bolden. And it's homecoming.
Hey, and it's homecoming. That is correct.
Man, I'm going to before we get deep into the show, let's start out the show out by looking at a little bit of last week games. And Bledsoe I guess he keep not want to get on the stage with us or whatever, but some of his predictions were off too. But I think I nailed it with the Alcorn Valley game. I said, 31-7? Bledsoe said, man, you must be crazy.
Yeah, I did. I said I'll take it. I stand on it. I stand on all of my predictions. It ain't gonna always be right. But I'll say this, Playboy.
Alabama State 26, BCU 21. Does they give Alabama State a lead in the East, or does Jackson State still stand tall in the East, or who's leading the East? Is the FAMU? What do you guys think? Let's talk about it. We'll start with you first, Charles, and then you next, Dent.
Well, it's up in the air. We 1-0 in the East. I think what are everybody else? FAMU is 1-0. It's a bunch of first places right now. This is we just getting into this thing. So there's a lot of football to be played. A lot of football to be played.
Man, I was kind of impressed with Jackson State. They win with over Texas Southern. I actually thought Texas Southern would win that football game. But Jackson State they've found something right now that I think they need to ride with in that East. But right now, I think it's too close right now to call. But FAMU, Jackson State, they both looking pretty good.
My thing is I watched it as well. I mean, we've got a great running game. Our quarterback did what he needed to do in the game. He made plays. And our defense has just been stand up, straight up. Them some, as I like to coach say, them some dogs. They get after you. So
well,
they like to hit.
Who Jackson State to beat in the East?
So in that,
who have they beat in the East?
Well, Texas Southern counted as a conference game.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna count. Yeah. No, it don't count in the East, but it does count as a conference
I ain't gonna give you no credit. You don't supposed to get.
But we lose that game. If we had lost that game, we would have been one game in the hole. So it counts.
You'd have been one game in the hole, but you wouldn't have been in the hole in the East. So
yeah, but if it boils down to tiebreakers and stuff in the East, then it goes to your common component in the West. So it does matter.
Yeah, it does matter. You can't get around that. It does matter.
At the end of the day, it matters. But in the grand scheme of things, Jackson State's supposed to be rolling over everybody. So at the end of the day, East doesn't matter. When you face FAMU, when you face Alabama State, that's when it's gonna matter.
Well, you know something. We rolled over who we were supposed to roll over this week, so that's all that matters.
Absolutely.
Next, we got to roll over somebody this coming week. We got Alabama A&M in Mobile, so we roll over them. We'll be all right.
So I understand the whole process, but remember, at the end of the year, every year is like, hey, look, this game don't even matter. If we lose, that's what you say. It don't even matter because we already won the East or whatever. That's what you say.
Well, if you refer to Alcorn, y'all always matter. Y'all always gonna matter. We could be 0-35. If we walk away with that one win, life is good.
But the Alcorn game is gonna always count because it's their common component in the West. That game will count just like the Texas Southern game count.
Exactly. It
It's
will count. But you know something? If y'all were in the Northwest, 3,000 miles away, you come to Jackson, or we go there, it's gonna matter.
Okay.
Because that's how that goes.
It best to matter.
You know,
Alabama State and fam, you play this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And you guys got any predictions for that game?
Man, I'm taking FAMU. I'm taking FAMU 2 touchdowns.
I would agree with that because Alabama State's on their 4th quarterback. And he's a freshman.
Yeah.
Exactly. Alabama State has got some problems. That game is flawed. That game is basically FAMU's to lose.
But defense wins championships now. Defense wins championships. So
but you got to score touchdowns.
They're supposed to have a pretty good defense, right?
Yeah, but you got to score touchdowns to win championships as well.
Yeah, you can't win a game 0-0.
Exactly.
And Alabama State is, man. Guys, what do y'all think about the overall program? I mean, hiring Eddie Robb was a big splash, and they had a whole lot of things going on for them. And then, right now, it just seemed like the boat is sinking.
They snake bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Call it that. Yeah, I guess you can call it that. But right now, that boat's sinking, and it's sinking fast.
Well, I heard the defense is pretty stout. It's just the offensive struggles. And
that's his calling card. He's a defensive guy.
Yeah.
So the defense wasn't any good. I would definitely say you need to be out the door.
I just hope we don't lose one of our quarterbacks to him.
I know which one you're talking about.
What you laughing for, Mike?
Well, I mean, they went and picked up that kid from Texas Southern. You would think that quarterback situation would be okay.
Well, he got hurt.
He got hurt. He's out. He's out right now.
He's out. He just had surgery, I think.
Yeah,
oh wow! So he's
that's one snake bite right there.
Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
Then the backup come in. He got bit by the same snake.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
But you know what, guys? Speaking of defense, I think Jackson State held Texas Southern to 31 yards rushing.
Yeah,
I seen that. That running back Texas Southern has is pretty good. I mean, they couldn't get him going.
No, they
could not get him going.
They couldn't get him going, but at the end of the day, it's also about that offensive line. I mean, our defense was just.
Yeah,
kept the offensive line in check.
It's more about y'all defensive line than it is their offensive line because their defensive line played pretty tough.
Yeah, they play very tough. They got a lot of speed on the edges. I mean, I'm kind of like blown away by how well they're playing. Even in the Alabama State, in the Grambling game, we gave up a lot of points, but I told you 5 turnovers, you're gonna lose football games.
Well, you're gonna lose football games.
Yeah, you're gonna lose that game, but the defense still played well.
Football game with being in the negative like that, you're just not gonna happen.
You can't. There's nothing you can do. That was just a whooping we were gonna take that day.
Yeah,
my thing is just that defensive line just keep doing it. Linebackers keep doing it, and people have kind of said that our defensive backs are suspect, but they play well. They made plays, so. I'm not buying into that argument. I think we got a solid defense around the board with the defensive line being our strength.
So what you're telling me is that Jackson State doesn't have any weaknesses on defense?
No, everybody got weaknesses now. Everybody got weaknesses that can be exploited. It's just a question of what kind of coaching you're gonna have on the other side of the ball to put people in a situation to exploit that.
Mike, you must be trying to jinx Jackson State. That's what you trying.
Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not.
You see the numbers you see the numbers that Grambling put up on them. What are you talking about?
But they had 5 turnovers in that game.
Yep.
5. And you can't. I don't care who you are. 5 turnovers, you gonna struggle. Now I'm gonna give you my non-biased opinion on Jackson State. If Jackson State plays clean. What I mean by clean, they stay in the plus margin on the turnovers. It's going to be tough to beat them because they have some talent. They seem like they got a pretty good coaching staff. And I got a chance to spend the whole day pretty much with these guys this summer. I saw a lot of them. I saw how they interact. I saw how they interact with the kids that was out there. And that's a coaching staff that I can tell that's working together. Not saying nobody else is not working together, but I can see them being in the hunt because of what they're bringing in and what they're trying to do with their team. Now, I haven't seen my school, Alcorn. I haven't seen them. I will see them Saturday, and I will be able to make I guess a prediction, if you want to call it, of them, because I'm going to watch. I'm gonna go and see some of my old classmates, but I'm going to watch the game. I want to see exactly what they can do. I watched FAMU play this year. I think FAMU, they're pretty good. Can they be beat? Oh, hell yeah, they can be beat. There's no ifs, and buts about that.
Yeah.
But, there's teams that are teetering with different things. And right now, over there in the East, if I had to make a prediction, man, it's 50-50 right now between FAMU and Jackson State, in my opinion. We're talking about the East right now.
Yeah. So, something, those are good odds. I'll take 50-50 as opposed to 80-20.
What teams do you guys feel that are on the come up and they're going to be consistently there for the next couple of years because of what they have on staff and what they have returning?
Well, I'm going to say two that I know of. And like I said, I don't know about some of these other staff, but I do know what's on Grambling staff. Mm-hmm. I know Mickey Joseph, been knowing him for years. I know what kind of guy he is. I know what kind of people he's going to bring in. I know where he's been. I know what he's done. And he's been in a lot of big places, and he knows how to run a program. I'm going to say Jackson State, just from what I'm looking at, what TC is doing, keeping things going, staying pretty balanced right there. I think Alabama State is in disarray. I no disrespect to anybody out there. I think Southern is too new to tell. And Alcorn, now we got an experienced guy who's been a head coach at the junior college level, been a head coach in the SWAC, and has coached at the FBS level. But I don't know about that staff just yet. I got a question mark about the staff. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm not saying they're good. I'm just saying I got a question mark about them. Now, in FAMU, I think their staff they can get people down there. They got a little bit more money than the average to be able to get some valuable coaches. But if I say right now the best coaching staff that I see on paper, I think it'd probably be Grambling. And then right next to Grambling, I think it'd be Jackson State. From what I'm looking at. I'm not talking about a whole bunch of recycled people and stuff like that. I think Texas Southern got a decent staff. This is their first year, so we'll have to see. But I'm just talking about people I know. I know Mickey. I know what Mickey does. I've watched Mickey for years. And I think, if they give him time, he can do things at Grambling. Because he's been at both levels. Now you take what was the guy at Grambling last year? What was his name? Hugh Jackson?
Yeah.
Hugh Jackson, yeah, he's an NFL coach and all that stuff, but I don't think he had a HBCU ties and understand what it takes to actually be successful at HBCU.
I agree with that 100%. I think that's what it was. People were putting him on a pedestal because he's an NFL coach, but he didn't understand exactly how the structures and how our institutions work and how you're supposed to go get certain kind of players and what you have to do to get good football players. Now, Joseph, that guy is, and I've said this to Mike, when he gets some football players, he's going to be a problem.
A problem.
Straight up problem. So, all he needs is the athletes.
Well, I'm trying to understand the Hugh Jackson part. I think the Hugh Jackson is my personal opinion. I think the Hugh Jackson issue was his coaching he selected. And it may have been because he had to rely on somebody else to pick those people out. But coaching is coaching. And just like Jen said, if the coaches don't go out there and get the right coach, they got Hugh Jackson quarterback now, don't
Hey, yeah, but I'm gonna say that Hugh Jackson may just have been a bad coach. He hadn't won on the NFL level. He's definitely not winning on the level. I think he at Morehouse somewhere now getting beat. I don't
he's
know.
Not at Morehouse.
He's at I think he's at a D2 school or something like that. But we're gonna move on from that. Let me ask you guys this question. Alcorn played Valley last Saturday, right? They got a brand new turf. They got a brand new scoreboard, jumbotron. What is it going to take, in you all's opinion, for Valley to start winning some football game?
Another coaching staff. You want my opinion? Another coaching staff that understands the layout of what needs to be done. Now, the coach there, he played Valley, but I just don't think he was experienced enough when he got that job. And they're understaffed. You can't win. You can't do anything understaffed. I think they had some recruits down this week. They got six or seven coaches on the whole staff, to be honest with you. You can't prepare and get, entertain recruits and do some of the things they can being understaffed. Like, the reason why Valley can't play a Mississippi State or Ole Miss? Because they don't have enough scholarships. You got to be at 90% of your full allotted scholarship for 5 years before you can play a FBS. And they're not that. That's why they don't get that opportunity to go make the money that the other schools get a chance to go make. So
then, is it the coaching staff, or is it that administration just had made a full commitment?
Well, I think it starts with the administration, and then the administration is the one who hires the coaching staff. You understand what I'm saying? So they hired this guy. He was a junior high head coach. He was a receiver coach at Delta State. Never been a coordinator at the college level.
Well, we're going to stay in the East for right now. What's y'all? Do you have any comments on Valley?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to go academic. We're going to stay away from that today. But that financial struggle that institution has to deal with, we all dealing with financial struggles. But theirs is worse than everybody else's. It's like Prairie View in the 80s, when they were just a whipping boy for everybody in the conference. But when you found out they didn't give out one single scholarship. Whole football team was basically kids they pulled in however they could get players, and everybody was beating them 55-0. Valley is close to being in that same place. It's a reason why they couldn't that they have that guy to be that coach. Because I'd be interested to know what's his salary, and I'm pretty sure it's probably the lowest in the conference.
It is. It's the lowest in the conference.
It's almost an impossible place to win because the financial and the structures are there. I don't even blame the administration. We're talking about a school that is struggling to do day-to-day operations of the institution. So football is just not going to be on their list. I mean, if anything else, I would say the Valley really needs to be a D2 program.
Oh man, you took the words out of my mouth. They're not
in the position.
Hey man, hold up. Y'all trying to get me and Mike shut off? Y'all trying to get our show cut out? What's up, Dick? We competition to you or something?
I'm just speaking the word that they will say. They need to be a D2 program. Real talk. It's pride.
It's they're in a tight spot. I mean, and think about what we all have to do when you start comparing us to those schools who are high up the food chain. You know, and I'm not even talking about let's forget about talking about trying to compare the SEC or Power 5. I'm talking about other really strong FCS programs.
Correct.
You know, the financial picture is just not the same.
Well, you look at Alabama State, man. From what I understood, they built that stadium with the project of going D1. From what I was told from some people, and they should be able to get the best kids in there, because look what they got. They got more resources than anybody else in the SWAC when it comes to that.
But I'm gonna tell you something. What they did was, and you know, I have to do a little bit more research on this, but from what I heard from a lot of street committees, we used our money that we got from the big Ayers case years ago. We put our money into our academic programs. That's why we have so many PhD programs. That's why we've got an engineering program, because when we won our money with that big lawsuit, we put every bit of it into the academic side of the university, and it's paid off for us with the number of programs that we have now academically. Alabama State took theirs and put it into their athletic program. They didn't take the great academic league. They took the football league. That's how they were able to fund that football stadium. And that's why they have the kind of facilities they do, because they took their money from their case, because all the states, all the HBCUs around the country basically had the same kinds of cases that we had. And that was the institutions are not financially put in the same place where everybody else. We were discriminated against, and we won the lawsuit. You know, and all the state universities, all the HBCUs in the state were able to get some benefit from that lawsuit. And Alabama did it. North Carolina did it. Tennessee has done it. And Tennessee is still fighting their battle. Tennessee State is still fighting their battle with that.
Yeah, Tennessee State need to be in the SWAC.
Yeah, they need to. I don't know what state legislature won't let them.
Yeah, I know it.
I don't know what Valley is doing money wise, but their band sure did triple in size overnight. I mean, one year they went from like 50 or 60 to over 300 plus. So they got some money up there somewhere. Maybe they just don't want to commit it all to football or whatever. I don't know.
Well, they have it, but everybody's got pockets of money coming in from different places. But when you start talking about trying to finance the entire university in all phases, you got to pick and choose what you're going to do. That's the position that most of our institutions are in. Okay, I might have a few $1 million over here. Am I going to put it in an academic program? Am I going to put it on the football field? Am I going to put it in the music program? Am I going to put it in the engineering program? You got to phase that. So that's where Valley chose to put theirs. Then we use our bands as a recruiting tool to basically bring students into the institution. That's where that's where the hype comes from. You know, everybody has a marketing plan, and everybody has something about their institution that would attract students.
So I think the answer is a financial answer, but I think it's the method by which you try to get your finances, because winning gets you money. And so they got a double-edged sword. They need to start winning so people can give them money or donate money. I don't want to jump on nobody's back, because I try to stay out of people's pockets, but just imagine if Jerry Rice was much more out front about Mississippi Valley and asking for money for the school and that kind of thing, and just having somebody out front, you know, trying to get people there, trying to get recruits to come. I know he's 90 years old, and some of these kids, all they know is a name that they see in a book they didn't see him play, you know. But I think that's the kind of thing that's going to bring money to them, is if they have somebody out front, somebody on the business side trying to draw money. Once you start winning, winning brings money. You ain't winning, ain't nobody coming.
But you can't win without money these days.
Right.
Yeah, you can't win. It's a double.
That's why it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
that used to be the answer, for the alumni. Well, you show us what we can do, and we'll raise money. Right now, it's actually it's the other way around now.
Well, we're gonna stay in the East right quick, and let's talk about the school with money. And hey, they aren't winning. Let's talk a little bit about Alabama A&M. And this is just the last leg for their head coach up there.
Yeah, they do have a lot of money. Man, I don't know what they're sitting at right now. They're 2-2 right now. But I don't know, man. Alabama A&M is just one of those places that, man, they jinky. They one of them schools, man, every year that you turn around, they could be, play like poop the week before and turn around and beat y'all. I don't understand why there's no consistency there with them. I don't understand that. I mean, they've been like that for years. They had a pretty good run here, about 3 years ago? But yeah.
Well, they actually had a pretty good run the year before COVID. They just couldn't beat Alcorn. Came real close. The receiver stepped out of bounds and came back in and caught a touchdown right at the end of the game. But
yeah, I remember that.
But they had a hell of a playmaker at quarterback, and that was what was his last name? Was it Glass?
Glass, yeah.
Yeah. Glass
was the guy.
Yeah. And they had a good tailback that year too. So
And they had some. I always thought their receivers were actually better than that quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, those receivers. I was out there shooting games, and I remember them playing also. But the year before Dion came, and they went off and left our DBs like they were standing still. So I was
listen, I want to throw this question in there. I want to ask this question to Dent, and it's because he's the expert on this panel when it comes to talent. What's most important? A good quarterback or good receivers?
Man, I think you got to have a good quarterback first.
Yes, sir.
For the simple fact, you got to have somebody that can make up for a good quarterback can actually make up a little bit of ground for a receiver. And I know a lot of people think that's the other way around, but you know what? You can get a receiver that can run fast and run him in a scheme and be able to do things with him. You got to, if the defender's on a certain part of his body, a good quarterback can throw it to where only that receiver can catch that football. So me personally, I want a good quarterback who can read defenses and do other things. You give me a kid that can run a route and got pretty good speed, I'm gonna get open.
Hey man, you just bring the receiver in the conversation. I just asked you.
I said if you give me a decent receiver that can run routes.
Okay.
I ain't say a bad receiver. You can't. A bad receiver not gonna win you any game. A bad quarterback not gonna win you anything. But you give me a quarterback that his arm strength is good and his accuracy is good, and most of all, he can think up here. This is the number one thing about quarterback guys. I've seen quarterbacks that have a great arm and can do it, but they can't think. And if you can't think, you can't play. You want to answer? It's quarterback.
Okay, that's all. You start throwing. I asked about the receiver or the quarterback. You start adding the receiver in the equation.
Well,
are you saying both?
No, I'm not saying both.
They're not equal.
You gotta have a quarterback that can think to win football games.
They are not equal.
You need a good game manager.
All right. So what do you think about Alcorn quarterback? Hold on, Mike. Don't look up. You looking up? Then how you gonna answer that one?
I think man, Valley wasn't just if you want to talk about SWAC play, I gotta see him against somebody else besides Valley, man. I really do. And I'm kind of partial to the kid from Missouri because I saw him do some really good things. This kid right here that we got right now, I don't dislike the kid, but I need to see more. I just need to see more. I need to see more. I need to see better ball placement. I need to see the ball release out of his hands a little bit quicker. It's some things that I would like to see him do. And I think if he does those things, we'll be in great shape. Now, we don't have the receiver core that we used to have. We don't have that. Do you agree, Mike? The receiver core we had, I want to say at least 3 years prior, we far from that right now.
Well, if you go back 3 years and even last year, you talking about NFL receivers. One on the practice squad now with Atlanta, but I think the talent is there. They got some good young talent. From what I've seen right now, Vaughn can't. I don't think this kid can really throw the long ball. But with that being said, you can win a championship not being able to throw the long ball. John Gibbs can throw the long ball. One thing that Alcorn has is a hell of a running game, and I think if you can run the football, shun up the game, hit, and I'm gonna just say this: when you got guys like Truck Griffin and what's the kid from Picayune, throw the ball, make the game short, get it to them. They can make plays, and so it's just a matter of what that coaching staff want to do and how they want to design plays for those kids. But back to your question, Bless. So you talking about quarterback and receivers? I'm gonna change it up just a little bit. If I'm building a team, I'm starting off with the offensive and defensive line. Football games are won in the trenches. You can have all the talent in the world at quarterback and wide receiver. You don't have an offensive line, it's not gonna do you damn good.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. He was just asking me which one would I do first, receiver or quarterback. Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
So you had two people.
Have those guys up front.
You're looking at two people. You can only pick one. He's a hell of a receiver and a hell of a quarterback. Now you ain't got no good receivers on your team. So which one you gonna get?
Man, I'm gonna tell you what that's hard to say because you got to look at what you running and what you need the most.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest with you. If you want to put it like that, you got to look at, okay, where are we hurting at the most? Can we stretch the field? Okay. So do we need a guy that can stretch the field, or do we need a guy who can make those tough catches? So you got to look at what aspect of the receiver do you need him? What do you need him for? Right. That's how I would judge it. Do I need a slot guy, or do I need somebody who's going to stretch the field?
Right.
I don't know. My mindset is the football is in the hands of the quarterback.
Oh yeah,
99.9% of the game. I'm choosing the quarterback before I choose anything.
Listen, man, you saying that right now? Yeah. Well, I tell you what, who's the first one you be hollering at on that field out there? We need a quarterback. I ain't never heard you say we need a receiver. You be yelling, we need a quarterback. That quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want a quarterback first.
Well, why y'all keep switching your quarterbacks, man? Why y'all
trying to figure out which one gonna be the best man in the game? And on the practice field, they go toe to toe. So you got to find it out. But we found out this past weekend, basically through injury, which one can really produce.
So I saw your eyes get big in them glasses. So you said basically. So what does that mean? Does that mean this week you're going to be having one quarterback?
I do believe so.
Or you're going to be going back and forth?
I have no idea. My name is not TC Taylor. So
okay, let me ask you this then.
I'm going to trust TC to make his decision on what he's going to do.
So trust TC. If he's going back and forth, this game, you trust him.
A T-shirt to say "I trust TC."
Okay.
In TC we trust.
There you go. In TC we trust. That's what my head said.
Yeah. Wear that to your next podcast. Wear that one to the next one.
And it's gonna stay the same. It's gonna stay the same. I like the guy. I was impressed with what he did. I saw pockets of of really nice decisions. His coach, his play calling last week was sweet. It was sweet. He passed when he needed to pass. He ran, he made them run when they needed to run, and it worked beautiful.
And if you, Charles, you want to think about this, he's probably one of the, you just think about all the play callers in the SWAC right now. Man, he's probably the most veteran play caller in the SWAC.
Yeah.
He's been a lot of different places, you know.
He has been.
I mean, you got to think about it. You know that's and he's a head coach now. So yeah. I mean, I can't. One thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it a buck. And like I said, from what I see as of right now, he got something to work with.
Yeah,
now, I'm perfectly go through and through, but I'm gonna let you know after Saturday what I really see in the Braves.
Well,
about it.
Let me keep it a buck. Just like you just did. I ain't giving them jokers nothing because they don't give us nothing.
I'm a different analyst than you. I ain't giving nobody anything. I just, hey, look, I'm gonna give you your flowers. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, that's football.
Right.
That's just me. That's football.
Right.
Well, so winning is winning to me. So winning is winning. Jackson State, as long as they winning, they good. I can cry and complain about this and complain about that. That's my job. My job is to make them miserable. But when they winning, ain't nothing I can do.
Nothing but stand there and take that whipping.
Right. So listen, Alcorn fans have been so damn hospitable. Ever since I've been knowing Alcorn, we've been so hospitable. Come on out here. Come have a seat. Let's barbecue. Let's eat. You go to Jackson. People like Charles is hospitable. But the other jokers, man, we gonna whip y'all. You know what today?
Now I will say this, and this is how Mike and I became friends. When Jackson State was going through them James Bell days, I just couldn't take it. I did not go to one single Jackson State game the whole time he was coaching. I did not. I spent my entire years on the reservation. Every Saturday, I'm rolling down there with Mike. And you right, we ate good. Y'all were lovely. Teased me a little bit about Jackson State. I couldn't say nothing. I was out there enjoying it. I was pulling for y'all.
Right.
Well,
let me ask you this, Charles. I got to throw this in there, Bledsoe. Hey, now you done been to the reservation numerous of times.
Yes, I have.
What other atmosphere in HBCU football is like the reservation?
I gotta give you your due. I'm gonna let you have
that's what I want to know.
I'm gonna let you have this. It's sweet. That smoke, y'all had them campers out there in that little backside, that smoke flying up in the air, and it's just this down home loving feeling, and it's beautiful. I give y'all that.
Baby, that's home.
I will give y'all that. You out in this big open, you ain't got no mess going on.
I appreciate you, Charles.
Hey, Ben. It's one thing Charles leaving out too. He's a big fan of the Golden Girls too.
Yeah, I did get hooked up on that for the heavy too during that period of time. I was a single man and I enjoyed myself.
But Charles, you know my homeboy David Johnson, though. David Johnson came down the first year y'all came. Came down. First year y'all came down and played, and
David Jones.
David Jones. Excuse me, not David Johnson. But David came down, man, and boy, he was looking around, and my granddaddy says, "I was big as a bow dollar." Man, he couldn't help it. Oh, he didn't want to give us no credit, man, but he had to swallow it, man. He had to swallow it.
I'm gonna give you credit, man. Especially when the stadium is full, and then you still got another 35,000 people sitting out in the parking lot and all around the campus. Man, it's sweet. It's sweet. I give you that. I give you that.
I had to get that out of him, Bledsoe.
I mean, because my thing is, it is a Black cultural thing that is special to us as a people.
It is.
So we got to celebrate this among ourselves. It's ours. We don't have to share it with anybody. We will invite anybody in who wants to come and share it with us. But we get to be who we are, and you get to share it who we are. We're not having to adjust to you. You got to adjust to us.
Right.
You know,
and I'm gonna tell you something, guys.
Like that, and that matters.
I'm gonna tell you something, guys. You talk to a person who has been to a lot of different places, from Alabama to Tennessee, to Ole Miss to Oklahoma. I've been a lot of places. There's nothing like a tailgate at an HBCU.
Oh yeah.
Now you got the Grove, and they got chandeliers in the tents and all that stuff. They just got a lot of people. But when it come down to, man, good down south cooking and having a good time, nobody does it like us.
No,
and you talking to a person who's been at some big games. Big games with 100,000 in the stand. The tailgating is not like an HBCU.
I mean, that's true. I have that same right.
Yeah, they don't have the people outside tailgate. Now they show up for game day, then they disperse. But when you come down and you got two speakers sitting up there, and you got King George playing, and you can hear him from here to there. Oh man, ain't nothing like it.
Yeah.
You got the mocktail.
I've done the Ole Miss and Mississippi State thing. You know, I have, because I was shooting for AP, and I was traveling, and I was shooting a lot of their football games, and very hospitable people. Feed you, nice, sweet folk. But it still ain't nothing like what we do.
It ain't the same.
It ain't the same.
It is not the same.
What's so crazy about the Alcorn Jackson State rivalry though is you got so many families that are entwined with each other.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so crazy that they get out there and eat together before the game. Soon as game time starts, they don't speak to each other. And then they come back after the game.
My son used to call me all the time. Oh, we're finna kick y'all to sleep. Then I can't get him on the phone afterward.
And see, Mike can speak of that in a very personal way with his married to a Jacksonian.
You know, I got from one son went to Jackson State, one went to Valley, and my other son he graduated from technical school up in Tennessee, and you know, of course, Isaiah's at Oklahoma. But you know, what I love what I like about it is, man, everybody got their own flavor. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. My oldest son, he loved Jackson State to death. You know, Nick, he loved Valley to death. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that just, and we get a chance, when we do get a chance to talk or whatever, SWAC ball, we all talk and know to each other.
Right.
You know, man, it's nothing like it. It's nothing like the culture. Like I say, I wouldn't miss this weekend for nothing, man. I got to go back and see some of my guys, man, that I played with. I hadn't seen them in a while, man. And, you know, you just want to go back and see your family. That's your family.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Hang out.
I'm gonna tell you this: another interesting game that's coming up on the schedule too is gonna be the Alcorn Southern game, which is Southern's homecoming. Now that may be a big game for a lot of the people that's in Southwest Mississippi, because you got that's similar to Alcorn Jackson, but you got a lot of family stuff that's involved. You know, you got a lot of people that's down in that Amite County and Wilkinson County area that went to both Alcorn and Southern family school, you know, that kind of thing.
But Mike, you know why that game gonna be special this year.
Why? Oh yeah.
Look, like he forgot.
No, I ain't forget about that. But the Alcorn Southern game is always special.
Oh,
is Jackson State playing FAMU the same weekend?
I don't know. I had to look it up.
That's the 19th. We play FAMU on the 19th.
Yeah, I think we play Southern on the 19th, huh, Mike?
I think so.
Yeah.
Hold on, I can check it out.
So it's gonna be a big weekend for a few teams.
It is. Okay.
Well, what's your opinion on the SWAC West?
I'll wait and see.
It's anybody's. It could be it's anybody's. It's gonna be a dog fight to get to that point. Whoever gets there probably gonna have 2 losses. It might be a 3-way tie with 2 losses each. It's gonna come down to the numbers.
Yeah, you got Southern, Alcorn, and Texas Southern, PV. Everybody got 1 win. Hold up, in the conference. Let me see. Yeah.
So Prairie View, Texas Southern, and Southern. You know, Southern beat Prairie View, but Texas Southern beat Prairie View, and we'll see what happens when Southern heads to Houston to play Texas Southern.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Gramblin's at the bottom of the cellar. I don't think they played. Have they played a game that counted yet? I don't think they have.
Yeah, they played. Didn't they just play PV? They just lost to PV. Grambling lost to PV 5 overtime.
Yeah, it sure did.
Yeah, they did 36-30.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But not Prairie View has 2 conference losses.
Yeah.
So
they do.
They had to win their game Saturday against Grambling.
Right.
And the funny thing, they showed the will because I think they were 2 touchdowns down. Maybe
because what they lost by 2 points.
Yeah.
34-36, something like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, that's right.
Now, Shaw, that Jackson State Grambling game didn't count. Did that game count?
No, Grambling and Southern didn't count for us this year.
Okay.
It's Texas Southern and Prairie View that counts for us this year.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. I think I Prairie View. Did we play Prairie View? Let me look at that. I got to look at the schedule.
Y'all haven't played them yet.
Mm-hmm. No, we hadn't played them yet. I'm just trying to see, do we play Prairie? Yeah, because we got to go to Houston. Yeah, we play Prairie View.
Well, what's your predictions for homecoming, Dent? We got UAPB coming in.
Man, homecoming.
Dent, don't even do it, bro.
Don't
even do it. You already said you ain't watched Alcorn yet. Don't even do it.
I haven't watched the whole game. I've went back and watched, glimpses and highlights and stuff on YouTube. I hadn't sitting down and watched the whole game like I did some of the others. But I'm just looking at what I saw. We should handle UAPB. I mean, I'm gonna say easily 14 to 17 points. If we don't beat them by that much, we're not gonna do nothing in the West.
Okay, because traditionally, PV and Valley are the bottoms of the East and the West, right?
That's right.
If we don't get by PV, it's gonna be some people hollering, and especially homecoming too.
I remember, what was it, about 4 years ago? I don't know who was it beat us on homecoming, and I think we won the SWAC that year.
Grambling.
That was PV beat us on homecoming.
So what now?
PV beat us on homecoming 1 year.
Yeah.
And the game went into double overtime.
No, it wasn't PV. It was Grambling. It was Grambling or UAPB. I think it was Grambling.
It was
Grambling. I just don't remember us playing Grambling on homecoming that went into overtime. Yeah, it did go into overtime.
Yeah, I threw a party.
I'm gonna say this too now.
That was in 16.
PB and Alabama State both have beaten us on homecoming in overtime.
Well,
no, we don't play Prairie View this year.
I can tell you that we better not lose Saturday. And from what I've
you said we better not lose or what?
Huh?
Or what?
Oh, it's gonna be some angry folks. It's gonna be some is he on the hot seat type topics going on.
Y'all not gonna
But what I was about to say, I do know this. Mm-hmm. They're bringing in, this is their major recruit weekend. Actually, I got about 4 or 5 kids that are scheduled to go down there this weekend, but this is the weekend that they're try to bring all the guys in that they're trying to get. They try to get them on campus this weekend. It's homecoming. You know, the atmosphere, everything is nice. So
I went out on a limb last week. I went out on a limb last week and picked Alcorn 31-10 over Valley.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 42-14 this week, Alcorn against UAPB.
Have you seen UAPB play this year, Mike?
Yeah, I've seen them play. Okay. They can score. I think this weekend, with this being this early in conference play, Alcorn defense is probably gonna have to play one of the best defensive games of the season, being this early.
Can Pine Bluff stop the run?
No.
Okay. They're gonna lose.
If they can't stop the run, they're in trouble. But if they can stop the run, we in trouble.
I say 30. I said 30, 38, 17.
Okay. I'm saying 0-0.
Pine Bluff has won one game. They beat Arkansas Baptist 73-0. I mean, so that's a NAIA school.
Yeah, Arkansas Baptist was a junior college a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So that y'all.
And I'm looking at this too, Charles. Now we get up or whatever situation is, they start playing some young guys. So I'm just looking at, I would safely say, like I said, 38-17. It'll probably be 38-6 or 38-3 when they take them out or something like that. But you got some garbage points. I'm giving UAPB right there at the end.
Boy, Dent. You set yourself up to be mad.
I ain't set myself up to be mad because here's the thing.
Man, you a man of little faith, bless so.
No. I'm what Dent said. I'm gonna keep it a buck, right? I'm keeping it a buck. He said, I'm not saying what my prediction is.
What
is
your prediction, man? What is it? Talk to me.
Well, I think Alcorn will win. I just don't think I don't think it's gonna be the number that they're saying. I don't think it's gonna be that high.
So what's your number?
Well, you didn't think we were gonna win against Valley last weekend.
You doggone right, I did. I didn't say they wouldn't win. I just didn't agree with the margin.
But 38,
if I would say, I say 24-17, 24-10, somewhere along there. It ain't gonna be. I just don't believe it. I hope they.
I'm gonna say this, and until we run up against Jackson State, and I watched Grambling and some of the other schools, but Alcorn ran the ball on McNeese State for 217 yards. Matter of fact, we had a total offense of 421 yards versus 457 yards, and we still lost the football game 42-14.
So what's that?
My point is that Alcorn's offensive line is so massive that I don't know if there's anybody in the SWAC, probably besides Jackson, that's going to be able to stop them from running the football.
Okay.
But we'll see. That's why the games are played,
Yep.
The only thing I see with Alcorn offensive line that I don't like.
What's that?
I'm looking at some big boys up front. Mm-hmm. And you run across a team that got depth, and that them two guys are just as good as them one guys. They're gonna give us some trouble because we're big up front, but we're not athletic up front.
But you know what though,
that was my next question. What kind of guys do they footwork?
Let me say this now. Against Valley, now you're supposed to have some guys coming back this week, but against Valley on their right side, they started 3 true freshmen.
Okay, like I said, I looked at the highlights, and that's all I looked at, and I was looking at those guys, and they were some big guys, man. They were some big guys. They weren't big and athletic. They were some road graders. You understand what I'm saying? They were some road graders type guy, but them road grader type guys like Poke Chop Womack to play the state and all them guys, you don't find those type guys no more.
Mike,
those athletic defensive linemen that's gonna tire them down.
Mike, how many yards did the quarterback have against McNeese?
Hang on for a second.
He had 100-something yard rushes against McNeese.
Alcorn quarterback did.
Yeah.
So that's over. That's a big chunk of your yards right there.
He had 127 yards, and Sowell had 74 yards.
See what I mean? He was running out of desperation. Man, coming.
Well, they got a lot of. They got.
How many of them were design runs?
That's what I'm telling you.
Some of that was design runs, but not this kid. After he look at his first progression, he going down the field. I can say this.
He got some footmen in him then.
Yeah, he telegraphing where he gonna go, and then that person to shut down, he taking out running.
Hey, Bledsoe. He got some footmen in it though.
Yeah. You got to develop that footman passing.
Oh, man.
Footman had 200 yards against Southern. 230-something yards against Southern.
Man, I remember that in the rain.
In the rain. Their homecoming.
Yeah, that's right.
But listen to me, guys. You can win in this conference running the football. Alcorn did it in 2014.
Man,
did it in 2015.
You're right. You're right. I mean, a strong run game. I don't give a dang what yet. A strong run game is gonna always open up the passing game.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't care what level you at. I don't care what level you at. From Pee Wee to NFL, a strong run game is gonna open up the passing game.
That's true.
This guy can hit the mid-range passes. You know, I think his biggest weakness is the long ball passes. I don't think he can hit that all that well. Maybe it's all about timing too. I don't know, but I think we got the receivers, tight ends, wide receivers to win even with the mid-range game.
How many passes have Chuck had Griffin caught? How many did he catch last week? They didn't put Truck Griffin in the backfield, man.
Yeah, they got some special goal line packages for him to come out in the backfield.
He wasn't no goal line.
The package that I saw,
they're trying to get him the ball.
The package that I saw, they put 2 offensive linemen in the backfield back there with him. So
yeah.
A heavy package.
Yep, just trying to get him the ball. I'm asking how many passing yards did he receive?
You know what I would do, guys? And I haven't seen a whole lot of it in SWAC ball.
Last week against Valley, he caught 5 passes for 50 yards.
The tight end position is if you go to the FBS level, man, that's a real key position. And I don't know, in HBCU football, we don't use the tight end like I think we should.
He's a receiver. Basically, he's a receiver. Our tight end is actually a receiver.
Yeah.
He's put in the slot. He flexed out. That's the way that is. Mm-hmm. So
how tall is he, Bledsoe?
What is about 6 foot, Mike?
I think he's about 6'2".
Oh, that's an H-back. That ain't nothing but an H-back. I'm talking about a 6 foot 4, 6 foot 5 guy, 225, 230 that can run.
No, he gonna be defensive end. No. That's what they do with defensive end. They switched that tight end to defensive end, and he got that type of height.
Well, that's just, but why? But why?
What you just said, they don't throw to the tight end. They don't use them like that.
Yeah, I'm just saying though. But you got offenses. Look at some of the best offenses in college football have great tight ends.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
It's just something I don't see a lot of when it comes to HBCU football, and I just I don't know. I just
name your best quarterback in the SWAC. Who's your best quarterback in the SWAC? There you go, looking up again, y'all.
Do we really have one this year?
I can't answer that one.
See, that's the point.
I can't answer that one. But
So
I'm gonna tell you the reason why I can't answer it, because, man, I don't have enough data right now. Because a lot of the teams have played against. Let me finish.
Okay.
A lot of the teams have played against teams that I can't really judge what they can do. I can't judge nobody playing against Vanderbilt.
Well, let's back up then, dog. Let's back up. You tell me a tight end that was dominant in the SWAC since Harold Carmichael, dog. Tell me.
What you mean? You had Harold Heath. You said dominant. Harold Heath was one of the best.
You talking about in the 70s, dog. You talking about the 70s. I'm talking about now.
You talking about the 90s.
I'm talking about Andrew Butler,
that played in the league for 8-9 years. What you talking about, fella?
Who?
Andrew Glover played at Grambling. Played for the Raiders.
You see how strong he is on that child? He's strong on that, ain't he? You talking about one guy?
No, I'm not. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, Harold Heath, if he had his head on, he would have been as good as anybody. You think I'm joking? I'm telling you, his son is in the league right now.
So my point,
his son in the league right now. Green Bay.
What I was saying,
am I lying?
That's why I was talking about the quarterback. That's why I asked you about whether you should have a good quarterback or not. That accents that tight end, right? When you got a good quarterback, when we had Felix Harper as a passing quarterback, it's important to have somebody then who can receive that, right? But when you got running quarterbacks,
that's always.
When you I'm just saying, you gotta go with what you got. That's why I was asking. Tell me over the past few years, the tight end that's been blowing up in the SWAC. There is none.
Oh, there is none, bro. That's
I beg to differ, because our tight end this year has had a good playing very well. And see, I'm sitting here looking at that roster right now. All of our tight ends, all of them are 6'4". We got 6'3", and all of them are 225 each, 235, 245. And we've been using the tight end beautifully this year. So we got real traditional tight ends. And it's been working because, remember now, we were trying to, get our heads straight on what kind of quarterback we're going to have. Well, that makes the quarterback's life a lot easier, boy. A whole lot easier.
What I'm saying is this right here.
Yeah.
Charles, a good tight end create mismatches that you can't just get anywhere else. That's why I was saying what I'm saying.
Well,
right.
You get that
I'm not disagreeing with you.
He creates mismatches. And I can't understand why schools don't go out and say, I need to find somebody that can create these mismatches.
So then I'm not disagreeing with you.
Oh, I know you're not. I know you're not.
I'm saying I'm trying to give you the reason we don't. When you have to have somebody to get them the ball. And when all of your quarterbacks are athletes in the SWAC, there are throwers and not passers. There's a difference between a thrower and a passer.
Man, I know exactly the difference between a thrower and a passer. But what I'm trying to tell you is why you can't. I got a kid right now in West Lauderdale. He's 6'6". Mm-hmm. He's a sophomore, so he's a 2027 kid. Is the perfect ideal kid. He's not the fastest in the world, but he got great hands. You get that kid in the weight room, you bulk him up, you bring him in, you sign him. He's not going to be ready to play his freshman year. But I guarantee you by the time he's a sophomore, he's ready to go. Or redshirt freshman, he's ready to go. Now you got him up to 220 and at 6'6". I don't give a damn how tight the coverage is. That's a problem.
Yeah.
If that's something, if he just flex, that's a problem. That's a mismatch with linebackers.
Yeah,
that's a nightmare.
It ain't no damn mismatch. You ain't got nobody to throw him the damn ball.
Oh, man, come on. You got quarterbacks that's capable of throwing. You acting like somebody can't throw 10 yards. It ain't like the tight end going 40, 50 yards down the field. The probably max you're gonna throw him the football is 15 yards. Come on, man.
I can throw the ball 40 yards. That ain't what I mean.
When you talking about you ain't got nobody to throw it to him, it is not. He's not there for the deep threat.
Well, I'm not talking about throwing a deep ball.
You say you
I'm
ain't
talking
got
about accuracy, man. I'm talking about accuracy.
40.
I said accuracy.
Oh man, come on, 15 yard. Who can? You mean to tell me you don't have
okay
that can throw 15-yard accuracy?
Okay, all right then. Go back and look at some of the games this year. Then go look at it. Look at other than Jackson State. Go look at it.
So you actually telling me that we don't have, out of all the teams in the SWAC, there's not a quarterback that can throw the ball accurate 15 yards. Man, you crazy.
Well, I just
you talking fools gold now.
I'm asking you.
That don't even make sense.
I'm asking you.
That don't
what
make sense. It don't make sense.
Charles said it. Charles said Jackson State's using their tight end. That's what he said.
Yeah, we to very
That's
well.
What he said.
And
I thought tight ends
why don't nobody else use the tight end? Right? That's what you said.
I'm gonna go back to the 2014 season. Alcorn used the heck out of Jordan Payne. He was a tight end. He came there as a quarterback and they moved him to tight end.
Was he a prototype tight end? I'm not talking about putting somebody in that position. I'm talking about a prototype tight end that could mismatch with his body and his size. That's what I'm talking about.
He was smaller than Truck Griffin.
No, that's not true. He was bigger than Truck Griffin.
What?
He was way bigger than Truck Griffin. Go back and look at his stats.
You must be smoking, Mike.
Go back and look at his stats. Go back and look. You pull them up. I know who it is. I got pictures of both of them.
You got pictures of them? You got pictures of the wrong person then.
I got pictures of both of them.
You think Jordan Payne was bigger than Truck Griffin?
I think so.
You say you think so?
Yeah.
How much Truck Griffin weigh?
I don't know. Let me see something. I have to go out here and find this. And they had Payne a lot of times lined up on the line of scrimmage.
Payne was 6'2", 220.
Okay, and what's Truck?
I gotta find him. Hold on.
6'2", 220 is a nice size tight end on this league.
Truck saying he's 6'2", 215, 6'3", 215.
Man, I beg to differ, man. When none of us, when I was at Alcorn, I was 6'5", 240. Cook was 6'4", 235, 240. They had a guy at Southern that was 6'7". You had Harold Heat that was 6'5". You had Andrew Glover who was 6'6". It was all around the SWAC. He was a minimum of 6'4". But it wasn't, that tight end wasn't flex back then.
Right. That's the whole point. That's what I'm saying. It's not the typical tight end.
Not as much. Now we played a lot of teams when they start blitzing a lot. Then I would come in and then they would move Tracy to the slot. Mm-hmm. So that was just in that blitzing package a lot of times.
And to be honest, you guys, and to be honest, man, with these spread type offenses, those offenses are not really designed for the tight end.
No, man. You say spread just because the man's in a shotgun. But Mike, you got several offenses that take the damn Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, you're lying. Everybody run spread.
Everybody run that. Come on, man.
As a matter of fact, that's top.
Them guys, everybody know about living off of it.
That's right. Baltimore's got to kill a tight end. Yeah. Who eats you up? Because that is a quarterback safety.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that's a quarter.
That's what I'm saying. That big body in the middle of the field.
Exactly.
You can find him easy.
Yeah.
You can find him easily.
And when they
he create mismatch.
Hands.
But right, man, it's a nightmare.
But when you look at the plays that Truck Griffin is successful on, he's catching the ball in the center of the field, 20 yards out, making big plays. 20, 24, 5 yards out, making big plays.
Mike, I'm not denying that. Mo, yeah. I'm not denying that. But he's catching the ball in the middle of the field. But is he that mismatch when I don't care? I'm throwing the ball to you if you covered. I don't care. That's what I'm talking about, a mismatch.
Well, he's a mismatch when the linebacker's on him or a strong safety's on him, they can't hold it. But now you put a defensive back on there, maybe a different story. But that's why he's so. But when you got guys like those species on the outside, most teams ain't gonna be able to put a defensive back on them anyway.
Well, I'm just saying that in the grand scheme of things, I would just like to see more of the what we call the tight end that we call it today. The 6'5", the 240-pound guy that can run, that create mismatch in the middle of the field, and down the field also for these safeties. You throw a 50-50 ball up, and he got a safety on him. If he got great hands, who you think gonna win that?
But the thing about it, he just did his measurements right. 6'2", 215. That's a nice size when you're looking at some of these small defensive backs in this conference. And when they get in there, he gets in the middle of the field, he creates havoc. They can't tackle.
6'2" shouldn't be tall in this conference. I'm sorry, Mike. 6'2" shouldn't be tall. Heck, I know high schools around here that average 6 foot defensive backs. 6'2" not tall. Now he might be physical. He might be a little bit more physical.
How many schools that you can think of in this SWAC that got defensive backs over 6 feet that's starting?
I imagine every school in the conference got at least 2 over 6 feet. I guarantee you it does. If you don't deserve to be in any kind of D1 football, unless you got a 5'9" or a 5'10" guy who's got a 44-inch vertical. Now he might make up for it.
Well,
that's just personal opinion. That ain't. I can't give you no facts on that. But
I'm looking at our roster right now with defensive backs. We got about 3 or 4 of them all up play. 6'2", 6'1", 6 foot. That's kind of what you expect. Now, how many of those guys can run a 4.3? That's the reason why Arnell Bolden is in the league right now.
That's right.
It's like, yeah, you're right. You want a 6 foot guy. You want that 6'2", 6'3 guy. But the difference maker is what kind of feet does it have? It was so funny because Arnell Bolden was on the bench, and the only time we used him on the defensive schemes when Dion was here was when he was a punt returner. And everybody trying to figure, wow, that boy 6 foot, 6'2", he run a 4.3. But he was having issues, I guess, not fitting in with their system. But then he goes to the draft and shows out because he's 6'2", run a 4.3, and he picked up his game. I mean, so you're right. Everybody is getting them.
Yeah, those measurables gonna get you looked at. They're gonna get you looked at.
And then the tight ends. I went through and just a second ago went through our tight end play. We have consistently used the tight end all season long, and we got about 3 or 4 of them dudes coming off the bench playing, and all of them are 6'4", 220 pounds plus.
Right.
And it's vital for a quarterback who is trying to figure out the game. A quarterback who is not completely comfortable. That is your go-to dump-off guy. We got one particular play where we do a rollout where everybody go to the left and the quarterback and the tight end roll out to the right. And Morgan pop it off and we get 30 yards out of it. I've seen them do that 3 or 4 times this year. Because I've been looking for like, I'm gonna get this picture at some point.
Guess what, fellas? Guess what the average height for a defensive back in the NFL?
Gotta be 6'2".
It's probably gonna say about 5'10".
5'11". 5'11", 193 pounds.
Yeah, but
out of that 5'11", 193 pounds, what's the average speed of those guys?
Right, it didn't say. I hadn't looked at that yet, but I'm just
4
giving you.
4 3s and 4 4s.
Right. The average height for a defensive back in the NFL is 5'11".
And those 6'1" guys, they're going to be a 4'5" guy with length. And you're just talking about the height. See, a lot of people get too caught up in the height. You got length plays the biggest part.
At wingspan.
That wingspan plays the biggest part.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you sit up here, you talking about an offensive lineman with what was Isaiah's offense? Let me see. I think he was 84 inches, 84 something. Mm-hmm. The wingspan is when you go to a visit at a P4 school, I don't care how many times you go, I don't care if you're a 4 or 5 star, they're going to measure your hand from pinky to your thumb. They're going to measure that. They're going to measure your ankles. They're going to measure your wingspan. You know what they measure? I asked the guy, I was illiterate to it. I said, man, why are you measuring his ankles? We want to see how much weight he can hold, how much more weight he can hold.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I'd be damned.
Hey, guys, check this out. Guess what the average height for a D1 defensive back?
I don't know.
5'9".
I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I hadn't seen it in SEC ball. I don't see no bunch of 5'9" guys out there. No. I don't know who put that one out there.
Cause them jokers so athletic. That defensive back who got that interception in that Alabama-Georgia game, man, I don't know what he was, but all I know is he went up in the sky and got that ball.
Right. I mean, you I don't understand those numbers because I know working with NCSA, and I know I think if you go look up their numbers, I think they say the average collegiate, D1 guy is like 6'1", 6 foot to 6'1", defensive back. So I guess everybody got their own different scale. I think the average offensive lineman is.
Sharp, can you Google that on your screen right quick?
What's that?
Average height for a D1 defensive back.
Yeah, but you got to look what companies putting it out too, now, Mike. Yeah. Because you got several companies got different numbers. NCSA is the largest recruiting tool in the country.
Well, look, before we end this show, man, let's talk about a little bit about our 2 big D1 schools in Mississippi. Ole Miss took it on the chin Saturday. I thought they were ready for big time football, ranked number 6 in the country, and let a basketball school come in and beat them, as Lane Kiffin would say. Any comment?
It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun, baby. That's all I can. Hey, it's kind of crazy. My business partner is a Ole Miss guy. He's he writes for 24/7 Sports, and man, it was some sad people in Oxford this weekend, but it goes to show you right now, if they have another loss, they won't get in the playoffs. And guess what's going to happen to Walter Nolan, who's supposed to be a first-round draft pick? What's going to happen to the receiver, Trey? What's going to happen to those guys? The offensive lineman, Big James, they're going to pack it in. They're going to pack it in. They're not trying to get hurt. They're going to pack it in.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what happens when you go out and buy your team and there's not a commitment from that person for long term, and that's what happens. And I think the reason why Ole Miss lost this weekend was because they played 4 cupcakes, and then they finally got a chance to play SEC play, and they were like, okay, this ain't like last weekend. I mean, you beat Wake Forest.
Do you think they were overranked or something?
I think they have the talent to do that. I think they have the talent to win, but I think they top heavy. I think behind those the paid players, I don't think you don't have enough meat on the bone behind those guys.
Kentucky gave Georgia all hell too,
and they have for the last 3 years.
So they ain't no cream puff is what I'm saying.
Kentucky ain't no bad football.
No, right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the thing about those type conference, man, you got to play every weekend. There's no letdown. And you got to be. I mean, you got to have some players to back up. You take Oklahoma, we're down 5 receivers. Our 5 starting receivers are OUT out. Lost 2 in the spring, lost 2 in the fall, lost 1 last week to a deep bruise. He's supposed to be back against Texas in 2 weeks.
Then I ain't trying to be funny. You might want to go get steal something from Alabama, because they got some 17-year-olds over there that's raising hell.
Man, but that ain't the only one. Heck, doggone Auburn got one. That Coleman boy. Yeah. Oh my God, man! Man, but see, I'm gonna tell you something. I see these kids on these 7-on-7 circuits. I see these kids.
Okay.
Man, and they play. Y'all gotta realize these kids damn near play year round.
That's why they're so good, huh?
They play year round. They get a chance to go against the best year round. But you got some of these coaches, you don't need to be doing that. You get plenty here and all that old mess because, I'm just going to be honest with you. Look at the 7-on-7 circuit. Who most of them look like? They look like me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it's a problem for some coaches. Mm-hmm. But those kids like Coleman and the kid at Alabama and the kid at Ohio State, oh, man, I believe all 3 of them tomorrow in the NFL.
Well, I'm going to just say this, and we're going to move on and talk a little bit. But the good thing about Ole Miss, they do have Georgia. They are playing Georgia and Oxford. So,
but
that's not.
Ole Miss would have won the dog, baby.
I'm looking at Ole Miss's schedule right now, and I didn't realize that you're right. They pretty much played their first 4 games with number cream puffs. They don't have a tough
SEC schedule. They don't have Bama. They don't have Tennessee. Right. They don't have nobody.
But they still got some games that they can get their butt beat. And they got LSU, they got Oklahoma, they got Georgia and Florida. Well, Florida ain't about nothing this year. But I'm thinking about 1996.
Yeah, you think about Urban Meyer, Florida.
Yeah, that Florida. I take that back. Florida ain't worth a nickel. But
yeah, man, it's different. And then Mike, you talking about in-state teams, man. I think Mississippi State kind of shocked some people this weekend by not getting beat 60-0. They kind of stepped up and played a lot better ball game against Arch Manning, which I still don't think he's completely ready yet. But
no, he's not complete, but he is showing some He's showing some.
Oh yeah, he got some. The tangibles are there now.
Yeah, he
the tangibles are there.
Yeah, because it's like he got his granddaddy's speed. Cause
he got granddaddy's speed. He got
his uncle.
Hold on, man. He got daddy's speed because his daddy was a receiver.
His daddy was a wide receiver.
Right.
And
he got
he
speed.
His problem, he could actually pick it up and put it down. It's very, very fast. You're right. He got his daddy's speed, and he also got some good training and coaching because he gave his training coach, to get them in a position to run. He said that's the reason why he's running the way he's running, but because of the way they train.
And you go back to what we talked about earlier, Mike. these kids start training at an early age, man, and and they so it's a little bit different. Now I think that I think Southern Miss, I know they're a group of 5, but I think he's on the hot seat. I think this year if he doesn't, pull it out, I think he might be out of there.
How long you been there, Dan?
Huh?
How long you been there?
3.
3?
Yeah, 3, maybe 4.
Well, here's the thing about
left.
Yeah. Here's the thing about Southern Mississippi. Southern Mississippi has fallen into the same problem that just about every school that's not a P5 program has fallen into. Because, man, when I was growing up, Southern Miss had athletes like you would not believe. And they had football teams that would just beat the break. Got to the point where Ole Miss and Mississippi State just took them off the schedule because they were getting beat by them so much. And now Southern Miss is basically, they're not killing it.
They're not getting the right. I think they could be good. I think they're not getting the right kids from Mississippi. I think they're not putting enough emphasis on their program for life after football for the kids in Mississippi, especially I want to say the 2-parent home kids. I see a lot of talk football, but man, if I want to show what my education is like. If I got a kid coming there, okay, look, son, this is what we're gonna do. We got a plan to get you out of here in 3.5, 4 years.
Right.
We'll help you, with some things, any kind of entrepreneurship stuff you want to do. We'll help you with that. Create some different programs for them to keep the kids. That's it. You take Trey Petty from Starville, man, they could have used that kid. He's in Illinois now. And I don't think it was all about NILs. I think it was just about what the school offered.
Right. Okay.
And I just think they offer a little bit more. I think they'll be able to keep some of these in-state kids.
So they just got some structural problems, huh?
I think so.
You think it's because I've always looked at Mississippi as a state in which whatever talent that you have is the top talent is plucked, a lot of it, and then the next tier goes Mississippi State, Ole Miss. When I say top talent, going like Alabama and Georgia, and then when it comes down to you got Mississippi State, Ole Miss, you got Southern Miss, you got Alcorn, you got Valley, you got Jackson State, but then you have a plethora, can't name them all, community colleges.
Yeah, but that's changed in the last 3 years, man. That's changed in the last 3 years. I know exactly what you're saying, and it used to be, you have this big kid, he can go anywhere in the country. Then you got Mississippi State and Ole Miss. Man, that's changed. That's changed a lot. Ole Miss could get any kid that they want, pretty much, because they got the money to do it. So they can get that kid. Yeah. So those days of, Alabama, that's over with when it comes to that. But you got a lot more kids going to Georgia Tech. You got kids going to Baylor. You got kids going to Tulane. You got kids going to Illinois. You got kids going to Stanford. I mean, I know that in the 2024 class, I'm just naming a few. So it used to be Mississippi State, Ole Miss, but man, they going everywhere now.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly my point, because everything's getting watered down, whereas it's not enough left to feed all of these schools. That's what I'm saying. That's what Southern Miss is missing out on. All of these other stuff. Back in the day, like you said, back in the day we had all of these schools, but now you got NIL. Plus you got, hey, look, I'm looking at a kid in Florida. I'm looking at a kid in Texas, rather than right here in Mississippi. That's the question.
I'm going to tell you another thing that's hurting. You go back to 1988, there's probably, man, don't quote me on this. I think there's like 80 to 90 more schools playing football in the D1 era than it was back then.
Yeah.
Wasn't no Central Florida, wasn't no South Florida.
Mm-hmm.
All that stuff, man. What those schools weren't even in existence. Wasn't no Western Kentucky.
Right.
You know, all these schools that didn't even have a program that has passed our schools. Some of them weren't even in existence. Boise State was a JUCO.
Well, I'm gonna ask this question before I get off because you probably the best person to answer. Charles can answer it too. He can answer it on an academic or level. When I asked the question about you have a lot of back in the day, you know, before NIL, you still lost those kids. The SWAC lost those kids to Western Kentucky.
No. Not in my day. Not in my day. It started twinkling off. But if you go back to the Mississippi Alabama game in 1988 and 1989, 90% of those kids went to Jackson State.
Well, maybe I should qualify this because I should have started out with. I'm not talking about our old ass days. That's when we were back there. I ain't talking about way back there. You know, when you 50 years old and up. I'm talking about. I'm talking about in the let's start at 2000 on up. You start getting
let me give you a little history of something that a lot of people don't know. So I want to say back in 2000, it might have been when the NCAA, you know, came down and said, you know what, if you guys have a Prop 48, for every Prop 48 you have, we're going to take away a scholarship.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that might have been around 90, 98 or something like that. So what started happening, those kids started going to JUCO. And when they went to JUCO, most of these high school guys, coaches, I'm saying, they were buddy with the JUCO players. So once they went to that JUCO, we never got those kids back. And that was one of the deaths of HBCU football. Because you got the Prop 48s. You got the Prop 48s.
And you also, another thing about those JUCOs too now, and I remember some coaches talking about this, that would be JUCOs coming to your school. Let's just say if you had a good recruiting year and you brought in a fantastic freshman, but that freshman is sitting on the bench. Those JUCO coaches would have those sneaky little calls and yank that kid out of your program.
Right. I mean,
that happened a whole lot in the 2000s.
That started, but they started with the Prop 48 guys. It started with the Prop 48 guys because before then, you could sign a Prop 48 and he didn't count against your scholarships. But when they made it where that guy's counted against your scholarship, you couldn't afford to sign 10. Because guess what? Now you just counted 10 against your scholarship that you can't even put on the field. So them kids had the college that had to send them. They had to go to JUCO.
Exactly. That rule came into effect to basically slow down the kind of athletes that we were getting.
Oh, yeah.
At one point in time, W.C. Gordon, there was no social media, and all W.C. Gordon and any of our coaches had to do was basically take a step off campus and go to your local high school or go anywhere within a 25-mile radius and bring in nothing but talent. It was insane. There was no competition to get them. Because remember, we used to have this whole thing about these dandy dozens. So the dandy dozens kids would dart off and go to Mississippi State, go to Ole Miss and play. But we didn't care about those kids. We would go right down. We would go down to wherever in the woods.
Jim Hill,
a 6-foot Jim Hill. We put out a
Jim
6
Hill,
foot
Lanier,
Provine, yes.
Yeah, and those are not even football schools now, man. That situation over there is sad now. It's sad to look at. It's sad to see what it was. I remember when I had to be maybe a senior in high school or maybe a junior. I remember when Callaway stayed in the top 3 in the state in football.
Yeah, they were loaded.
It was always in the top 3 in the state. And, you know, that school didn't look like it looked right now. You know, you know what I'm saying? I remember when Merle was 50-50, half black, half white. I remember those days. You know what I'm saying? So that's a lot of it. But I think, now this is just my opinion, I think when they made it where those scholarships, those Prop 48 counted against those scholarships, I think it was the death of us.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think it killed us.
And also, when I remember Coach Gordon talking about this, when they changed the rule and pushed us down to being able to give only 63 scholarships. And then we had to start darting them off. Because at one point in time, one AA football, you could have the same number of scholarships.
It was.
Well, Coach
it was a slow death. It was a slow death.
Yeah. Coach Castle, when the in front of the NCAA committee, they fought that for about 3 or 4 years. He and Eddie Robertson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They did not want to lose those scholarships. Yeah.
And see, now they moved it up to 100. I want to think it's 110 now for FBS and 85 for FCS, because it moved up this year. The year in 2025 class is different.
Well, look, man, we're gonna go ahead and get off the air, but let me throw this out there. Next week, let's talk a little bit about whether our HBCU should maybe even consider leaving the NCAA. The Power Five is maybe thinking about getting ready to do it. So let's talk a little bit about that and go into that history. And before we wrap it up, is there anything you guys want to say about this weekend ball games?
I got one thing to say, and it's homecoming.
Go Braves.
Anything you want to add to that, y'all?
Y'all go enjoy y'all homecoming. Have a good one. I know it's gonna be nice.
All right, man. I'll holler you guys, bro.
Hey, see you guys same time, same place next week.
All right.
Peace, and we out of here.
All right, Mike. I'll see you at the tailgate, Mike.
Peace.
I ain't coming, man.
I'll let me bless, so I'll be there.
I'm gonna look you up, man.
I want a plate because I know you're gonna be cooking some.
Nah, man. Nah.
I can't get a plate.
I'm an eater, Mike. I travel from tailgate to tailgate.
Man, you might be hanging out there because that's all I'm gonna be doing.
You're right.
Y'all some fools, boy.
All right, man. Y'all got it.
All right, now peace. Y'all have a good one.
Peace out.